All right, so you're gearing up for the JEE, the Joint Entrance Examination. It can feel like a massive challenge, right? Well, this explainer is for you. We're going to build a playbook to help you do more than just get through it. We're going to help you thrive. Let's dive right in. We have to start with a pretty serious number. According to the National Crime Records Bureau, student suicides went up by a staggering 65% between 2013 and 2023. Now, this isn't to scare you, not at all. It's about being real and acknowledging that the stakes on this journey are incredibly high. The pressure from classes, from peers, from everywhere, it's absolutely intense. But here's the thing. The answer isn't just locking yourself away with more books. The solution is a smarter, more complete strategy that looks at you as a whole person, not just, a test-taking machine. So, here's our game plan. We're going to break it down into 5 key parts. First, we'll get into the new rules for 2025. Then we'll talk about the common academic traps you've got to avoid. After that, we'll show you how to really use mock tests to your advantage, how to fuel your body for peak performance, and finally, how to win that all-important mental game. First up, the new rulebook. You've got to know the rules of the game before you can win it, right? The National Testing Agency, the NTA, has made some pretty big changes for the 2025 JEE main, and understanding them gives you your first real strategic advantage. So, the biggest change is the new tiebreaker rule. The old way was, well, it was complicated. It could come down to your age or even your application number. Kind of weird, right? The new rule just cuts through all that. It's simple. It is based purely on how you performed in the exam. Period. Okay, so here's exactly how it works now. If there's a tie, they look at your math score first. Still tied, they go to physics, then chemistry. And if, by some miracle, it's still a tie, it all comes down to accuracy. Basically, who made fewer mistakes. So what's the big takeaway here? Every single subject and every single answer carries way more weight than ever before. All right, on to our second pillar, common traps to avoid. These are the classic academic mistakes that so many students fall into, and believe me, they can cost you big time on exam day. Let me just ask you a straight-up question, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Are you ignoring your NCERT books? It is one of the single most common mistakes out there, thinking that these books from the National Council of Educational Research and Training are just too basic for the JEE. But here's the reality. NCERT isn't just a starting point. It's the absolute bedrock of your entire preparation. Other reference books just assume you've already mastered these fundamentals. And a ton of JEE questions, they are built directly or indirectly right from these core concepts. And here are a few other major pitfalls to watch out for. Trying to read a million different reference books, that just creates confusion. Only memorizing formulas without really understanding why they work, that's going to fail you when you get an application-based question. And, of course, a crazy inconsistent study schedule or just ignoring your weak subjects, that's a recipe for a mediocre score. Let's move to our third pillar, the mock test advantage. Now, the secret here isn't just about doing a bunch of tests. It's about using them as a powerful strategic tool to get better. And the data on this is super clear. It's not about how many tests you take. It's all about what you do after you take them. Research actually shows that students who really dig in and analyze their results improve 10 to 15% faster than students who just finish one and move on to the next. So how do you actually do that? You create a mistake journal. This is so powerful. For every single mistake, you don't just write down the topic. You figure out the type of error. Was it a dumb calculation mistake, or was it a conceptual gap? You have to ask yourself why you made it, and then most importantly, you write down a concrete step for how you're going to fix it next time. So the whole process really just boils down to 4 simple steps. First, look at your overall score and your accuracy. Second, use that journal to categorize all your mistakes. Third, look at your time management. Where did you spend too much time? And finally, you take all that data and create a super targeted revision plan that focuses on your specific weaknesses. On to pillar number 4, your performance fuel. We often think we can just trade our health for more study hours. But let me tell you, that's not just a mistake, it's a huge strategic blunder. Your physical health isn't some separate thing, it's a massive competitive advantage. Just look at this chart. It tells a pretty common story. A full 45% of what students eat is often junk food. That's not fuel. That's like putting sand in your engine. It just makes you feel sluggish, it tanks your concentration, and it makes you burn out way faster. And what about sleep? Oh man.
This number should be a wake-up call. According to research, if you don't get enough quality sleep, it can reduce your memory retention by up to 40%. Just think about that. All those hours you spend studying could be wasted because your brain didn't get the rest it needed to actually store the information.
The good news is the solution is a pretty simple checklist. You want to aim for 6 to 7 hours of quality sleep. Stay hydrated, drink that water, eat smaller, balanced meals. Obviously, avoid the junk food, and try to get some quick, regular exercise in. Remember, this stuff isn't a luxury. It's an absolute necessity for your brain to perform at its best. And now for our final, and honestly, probably the most important pillar of them all, winning the mental game. Because after you've learned all the formulas and taken all the practice tests, the ultimate resource you have is your own mind. And if you're feeling that intense pressure, you are definitely not alone. This quote from Dr. Rahul Chanduk, who's a senior psychiatrist, he totally validates that feeling. He says that so many students feel like they are in a state of constant competition, which just leads to burnout and anxiety. So what's the antidote to this? It's about shifting your mindset. It's about consistency over intensity. A steady, sustainable effort every single day is so much more powerful than those frantic all-night cramming sessions. Your goals should be to focus on your progress, not where you stack up against somebody else. Everyone's on their own path. And this is maybe the most important message of all. It is 100% okay to ask for help. Talk to your family, talk to your teachers, or talk to professional counselors. There are resources out there, like Hope Cure for online counseling, or platforms like NPTL that even have courses on mental well-being. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. So let's end with this final thought. The JEE, it's more than just an exam. It's a marathon that really tests your discipline, your resilience, and your character. So ask yourself this: beyond the score, beyond the final rank, how will this whole journey shape the person you are becoming?